Hey, BassGeek here, and it is March. The bass are feeding. It is a wonderful time of the year. Let me show you some of my favorite daggone baits that are gonna catch you a ton of bass. That's right, geeks. Let me tell you, it is March, man. I couldn't be more excited. It is time to go fishing. Hey, we've got the Red Crest, by the way. We're going to be there in Alabama. Come by and see me. We'll be with Camus. Hey, we've got the Bassmaster Classic in Oklahoma. All you guys that are going to be at the Classic, we're going to be with Camus. Come by and see me. But right now, we're going to talk about what you can do when you're not at those two places to catch a bunch of bass. And I'm going to show you my favorites for this time of year. It's spring, sure, but you still get some cold fronts coming in. So we're going to talk about a lot of different things and a lot of different ways that are going to catch you a lot of bass and some big bass to boot. All right, let me show you what we got. All right, geeks, let's talk about top 5 in March. Listen, I like moving baits this time of year. I like a lot of hard baits. I'm going to give you guys a couple of different things. I'm going to tell you my favorites. These may not be the best, but they're definitely my favorite way to catch bass in March. And number one, when the winds kick up, you know it's kite flying season, so it's going to be windy in March. It's time to pull out spinnerbaits and A-rigs. Me, I fish them a lot of the same way in March. I like to fish them around blowdowns, laydowns in the same type of water when it's windy. The A-rig is basically a big spinnerbait, boys and girls, so use it that way. Don't overthink an A-rig. So that takes us to the number one on my list, and it's absolutely going to be a good old A-rig. Now, there's a couple of different A-rigs I like to use and a couple of different baits. This is the Yum Flash Mob Junior, one of my very favorites. These are Ramsey baits. This is the sour grape color that I like to use. Of course, links will be in the description of everything, but this is one of my favorites right here. My other go-to is the Big Daddy Baits Dayton Boat Dock A-Rig. Now, this comes with good quality swivels and clips on it. And of course, you'll see I got the Ramsey sour grapes on there again. The smallmouth in my area, love them. This is the baby. One of the things I love is he puts an O-ring on here so it helps keep it good and tight. This is an incredible, extremely durable little A-rig for March. But now let me talk to you about a lot of the different baits that I like to use on these A-rigs. And I'm gonna tell you, my go-to this time of year is absolutely either the Strike King, or my favorite, of course, is the Kitech Swing Impact Fat. Some of the colors that I like to use, I keep real simple. I'm either going to use electric blue chartreuse, or I'm going to use white 90% of the time, some sort of like the sight flash. This is another one of my favorites. This is Smallmouth Magic. Geeks, before we go on any farther in the list, listen, if you're needing boat insurance, if you're buying a new boat, if you're a YouTuber or a tournament angler, go look this company up. BIA Insurance, Boaters Insurance Agency. It's in the name. It's what they do. Go check them out. At least get a quote from them. Let them know that you heard about it from BassGeek. All they do is boat insurance. They know what you actually need. Don't be left holding the bag if something happens. Go check out BIA Insurance. All right, let's go on with the March top 5. Next up is going to be a crankbait. This is the time to crank. We're going to get those spring rains coming in. Like we're on this lake right here. You can tell, I hope, a little bit of how muddy it is behind us. And this is normally an ultra clear lake. And with it being down right now, a lot of the brush is exposed. So that means it's a lot of rock that you're going to be cranking. And something that I love to throw in situations like this, when it's a little dirtier, a little colder, is something like this right here. This is the Norman deep little end. You can see it's not a completely round, but it's not completely flat. So it's got a nice little wobble, and this is going to run into that medium depth range, that 12 to 14 feet. And that's what I like to target this time of year. Now, here's a little tip on cranking or really anything. Take you a white bait, drop it into the water with your polarized glasses on, because bass can see really well, even in dirtier water. We don't give them enough credit for that. Drop that bait into the water and see how far you can see. Fish from that level to where it disappears. So like today, we're probably seeing about 2 feet. So I'm gonna fish about 2 to 12 is gonna be my target area. About 10 to even 15 feet below where I can see. I'm gonna start in that lighter, that shallower water, and work my way out deeper. And this bad boy is great. By the way, these are some new limited series colors. This is the orange belly crawl. You need to go check them out. Links will be in the description for all this stuff, but this is the table rock shad. Believe it or not, this is a killer clear water color. We got a little bit of a mud bottom on it. One of my favorite go-tos this time of year is the DT series from Rapala, however you want to say it. This is a DT 20 right here. My 14s, my 10s, my 6s, even my 8s. Such an two sizes that these come in that I think are two of the most underrated sizes. The 14s and the 8s. Incredible diving depths, great range on those baits. But this is one of my favorite colors when it's muddy and a little windy, is their Helsinki shad color. Now, when a cold front comes in this time of year, guys, I'm telling you right now, nothing beats a shad wrap by Rapala. Make sure you've got a couple of shad wraps. That Helsinki shad I like, old traditional crawl pattern, is two great colors this time of year. Realistically, you could have those two colors. You can get away with not fishing, not having any others, in my opinion. And the last one is, it's got to be a rock crawler. A rock crawler this time of year, especially on days like today, you've got those great rock crawler colors. And again, most of the time in my rock crawlers, I'm going to have some sort of red and brown crawls. Geeks, I'm going to include this in crankbaits, even though I know it's a category of its own, but I can't fit this into 5 unless I include it in crankbait. So this would be a top 6. And that's going to be my lipless crankbaits. It is the time of year to throw these things. Some of my favorite are from Profound Outdoors. These are the Heavy Z's, some of my favorite. Man, they make an incredible lipless. They make a silent version too. And this is one of my favorite colors this time of year. Next up, you can't go wrong. This is a little quarter, and this is from Booyah. This is kind of a hybrid. It's got a little bit of red on it. It's got a little bit of green on it. Kind of looks like a crawfish or a shad. And this is Booyah. I think this is the Hard Knock from them. Now this is a big shout out to Razor because he paints these for me, but I like their stock colors too, and that's the Red Eye Shad by Strike King. Now it is jerkbait season. Listen, do not put a jerkbait down, especially if you guys have forward-facing sonar right now. You're gonna pick up some really good bites and some really big bass this time of year. And if you really want to target those big bass, this right here is a big jerkbait. This is the perfect 10, and they are coming out in the FX colors by Smithwick. This is one of my favorite. It is a suspended bass, and you can tell, I mean, look how much bigger it is than, say, a Rapala Shadow Wrap. This is a big jerkbait. You're gonna get big bites, you're gonna entice big bass to hit this. This is one of my favorite colors. They've got a ton of new colors out. I'm not gonna run through them all, but this is the Violet Cream. Now you guys know I love almost any size of the Mega Bass 110 series. I mean any size. The 110 plus 1, the 110 junior, the 110 plus 2. They're just great jerkbaits. They're my go-to jerkbaits. I mean, just hands down. This is one of my favorite colors, again, whether it be in the junior or whatever type. This is the matte shad. In clear water, this is money. When I'm around smallmouth, this color is the algae bone, and I mean, it kills. And last but not least, you geeks have heard me talk about this a ton. I don't know if you've tried it yet. I don't know why. I'll say it 100 times over. The Deep is the version that I like the best. Of course, you use whatever you need to use based on the water depth that the bass are in. But this is the Rapala Shadow Wrap, and it is an amazing bait. It seems like I catch the bigger bass on these things. This is, I believe, the Ghost Shad. Next up, we gotta talk about big swim baits. Listen, the bass are moving up shallow, and if you want to learn how to fish a big swim bait, a big hard swim bait, this is the time of year. to do it. And there's a lot of good ones out there, a lot of simple, good ones that you can use out there. This is the month to go out there and get your first bite on them. Again, it's going to be windy. You're going to have a lot of rain. That's when you want to throw a hard bait. I know you hear everybody talking about, they're great in clear water. I have most of my success on days like today. Cloudy, a little bit of stain to the water. Think about it like a big jerkbait. You want a little bit of water clarity. You want a little bit of chop on the water. It's a hard bait. A great place to start is just right here, and that is the S-Waver. It's been a great place. It's been where a lot of people have fell in love with this style of bait for years. Another great place to start is the Pulse Swimmer, man. This thing is incredible. This is the Fast Sink multi-joint. They've got a true glide out now. That's an incredible little bait. That's another good place to start if you're just learning. Now, once you're ready to graduate, I'm telling you, this time of year, I don't know what it is, and you want to work this very quickly, is the 9-inch bull shad. Bone and gizzard shad, the only two colors you want, just a plain kind of gizzard shad color. But this thing, if I put it to you this way, if you don't catch them on it, it's going to tell you where they're at. Like I said, their traditional gizzard shad color is the one I like the most. Another great place to start, and it's a reasonably priced bait, really good bait, is the Chad Shad from Spro. This is their bone color. This is their 180. And this is an actual Chad Shad right here from the man himself. This is, I think, an 8-inch version in bone. Don't leave out your big, soft swim baits this time of year. Your Huddleston style, really wedge tail style swim baits, soft plastic swim baits. What I really like this time of year is those big 7+ inch, 8-inch swing fat impact or swing impact fats, rigged on a beast hook so they're weedless and really run through a lot of brush. You can tick that brush, and man, those big ones would just come up out of there and eat that thing. It is spinnerbait season. I love a spinnerbait bite. It is one of the very first things, geeks, that I ever caught a bass on. I think like the first 3 or 4 things that I ever caught bass on was a worm, a jig, a spinnerbait, and a popper. I mean, I think it's got to be somewhere in that neighborhood. But this right here is the Omega custom tackle, and this is something that I showed you guys I absolutely love. That little blade, and I'm big about changing the blades, you guys. If you haven't seen any of those videos from years past, go check it out. Blade color is so important this time of year. We're not going to talk about that much. It is so important to be able to go from a silver to a gold to a white, and at times even a chartreuse. But this allows you to change that kicker blade out. So this is one of my favorites, probably one of my most versatile, and you can see how soft that wire is. Probably the most underestimated part of a spinnerbait is it being light wire, especially in dirtier condition. A lot of guys like a big heavy wire, but that's really not what you want, because that light wire allows for more vibration, more movement in the spinnerbait, and generally it means more bites. But this is the Omega custom tackle spinnerbait. I don't remember the name of it. It'll be in the description to be able to get to it, but this spinnerbait is incredible. Some of my favorite brands have to be, of course, Omega. It's hard to beat a Pulsator from Nichols Lures. Great little color right here. One of my favorites, and this goes back to us talking about wire, and I'm going to put this in the spinnerbait category, even though it's not quite a spinnerbait, but this little wire right here and this fine little blade really gets some great action out of this little thing. And what I love about it is it's tremendous in clear water. You can also change the color of this blade. If it's a cloudy day, you can go with gold. I even believe they sell with different color blades on them. I might not be right about that, but you can even slightly upsize the blade if you need to. This is the Top Spin by First Gen. All right, geeks, that is it for the March top 5, man. We've got whatever you want in this top 5. If you want to catch a bunch, we got the baits for you in this top 5. If you want to catch the bigs, we got the baits for you in this top 5. It is March. It is time to catch a bunch and catch a bigs. Get out there on the water, man. Get out there and do some fishing. Hey, let me know what you're catching them on down in the comments. I always want to know what you are catching them on. Man, helps me spend more money and buy more baits to go try out. All right, anyway, questions, comments in the comment section below. You geeks know I love to talk about bass fishing with you. Remember, hey man, down in the comment section, tell me what you're catching them on right now in March, or what you think you'll be catching them on in March. Tell me that. If you're not catching them, tell me what you're excited to catch them on. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell when these videos come out. 100 Watch Squad, baby. Listen, you guys that post that down there, if you're part of the 100% Watch Squad, hashtag that too, man. Let me know you're part of that 100% Watch Squad. What is the 100% Watch Squad? All you got to do is watch every video when it comes out, all the way through. It really does help. It helps our watch time, which helps us push out to new geeks. If you like to share it too. Anyway, you geeks rock. All right, geeks, let's see who won the Baitworks BassGeek box. And hey, like I said, remember, if you're looking for baits, man, make sure you go check out Baitworks. They've got some awesome deals. They carry a lot of stuff, and they're going to get some more of the stuff that I use on the regular end. And it does help the channel tremendously when you use those links. But for right now, let's see who's won the February box. Add those replies, filter those duplicates, do a little math, get those comments. 170 geeks, man. We appreciate that. All right. B. Griffin 511. The winter tips have helped me catch a few good fish. We appreciate that. We hope we're helping. That's what we try to do. Hashtag Screwhead. All right. B. Griffin. Hopefully you're going to get some more gear to catch a few more good fish. All right, man. I will leave a comment under this comment, and we'll verify your identity, and then we will get this box sent out to you. Thank you, geeks. Each and every one.